right. We're live. How you doing?
I'm good. Kenny, how are you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Sure, man. Producer of the network probably won't like this. The Mets suck. I mean, they're in last place, right?
Oh, the Mets, it's been a nightmare last 12 months for the Mets. They were 20 games over 500 last June, only to miss the playoffs and barely finish over 580.
Maybe it's all that money they paid
79,
for
and now this year.
Soto. Maybe they should have never shelled
So
out.
here's the thing. Juan Soto, if you look at what Juan Soto wanted during his contract negotiations, he specifically wanted his own suites. And guys like that who you give these massive contracts to tend to be prima donnas who put themselves in front of the team. And usually when you bring in guys like that, you're not gonna go very far, and you're definitely not gonna win championships. The Giants had some good teams during the Bonds years, but there's a reason the Giants never won the World Series with Bonds around. And unfortunately, the Mets are in the same situation, and they're stuck with this guy until 2039. I'll be 45 years old when that contract ends. You'll be. Yeah. Kenny, how old are you?
I'll be 50 next year.
Aren't you encroaching 50?
Yeah.
You'll be 50 this year or next year?
Next year.
You're going to be 50 next year. Kenny, all grown up. Yep, and 20 years from now, 15 years from now, I'll be 45, or 13 years from now, I'll be 45 when this contract ends. So the Mets are, and you'll be 60, you'll be 62. You'll be in your 60s. You'll be an old man when his contract ends.
Yeah, I'll be like my friends in the New York hardcore scene. A lot of them are 60 something. Some are less, some are more. Right.
And it's a lot of baseball fans are. There's nothing wrong with that. But as for Juan Soto, the guy is, and I remember last year, early in the year, when the Mets were at Fenway and he hit one off the wall, the Green Monster, what they call in Boston, a scraper, and he wasn't running out of the box. So, that kind of attitude is why the Mets are really struggling. Now, the Mets, if I may intercede here, Kenny, are not the only team really struggling. My San Francisco Giants are struggling. They come into today's game 15-24. It's been a very, very frustrating start to their season. And, I'm just going to be honest about the Giants. They are rebuilding. They are clearly rebuilding and have been clearly rebuilding since last July. Buster Posey's not being honest about it. I wish he would. And I have no problem with the fact that they are rebuilding. They do need to rebuild. What happened was the Giants were rebuilding after the championship years, and then they had the biggest fluke season ever in 2021. And let me make it clear, that was one of my favorite Giants seasons ever. Always will be. But it was
15-24. That's definitely rebuilding at this stage. Last place.
Well, let me explain why they're rebuilding. 2021, as great as it was the worst thing that could have happened to this team, because it made them think, okay, we got the right formula. So for the last 4 years, from 2022 to last year, 2025, the Giants were in all-out win-now mode with at best a mediocre team, and had 4 straight years around 500. And the Giants, in 3 out of the last 4 years, 2022, 2023, and last year, were double digits over 500. They were 10 games over 500 on June 18th of 2022. They were 13 games over 500 on July 19th, 2023, and on July 19th, 2023, and they didn't finish over 500 either of those 2 years. Last year, they were 12 games over 500 on June 13th. Didn't finish over 500. And as much as last year's collapse really sucked, it was actually the best thing that could have happened to this team, because it made Buster and company realize this is not an all-out win-now team, and they got to go in a different direction. And credit to Buster Posey for rebuilding the right way. And by right way, I mean actually trying to compete while you rebuild. But the thing is, as rebuilds are, and this is the right thing to do, the rebuild is taking overall precedent. So, and oftentimes when you rebuild, you're not going to have the best season. Now, despite that, it's still been frustrating to watch the Giants this season, because they do have the talent to, at the very least, compete into September. And the last 2 games against the Pirates, the Giants have had 2 wins this week. The Giants, of course, are just in an absolute tailspin right now. They have lost let's see, they have lost 9 of their last 11. It has just been a complete nightmare. And the 2 wins they've had, they couldn't follow them up with wins with another win. Last night they get absolutely shellacked, but these last 2 games show just how capable the Giants are. When the Giants can play station-to-station baseball, and we saw them do it in their 3-run 7th-inning Friday night, they can be a really strong offensive team. Last night, Tony Vitello put on the hit and run in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Giants had runners at first and third and 1 out after he put on the hit and run with Jung Hoo Lee at first. Elliot Ramos lines a base to right where the second baseman vacated. First and third and 1 out. And last night's sixth inning, Kenny, was a perfect encapsulation of just the really frustrating start. The Giants set the table nicely, but Rafael Devers has to be the hero. Can't shorten his swing. He strikes out all over himself. Bryce Eldridge has to be the hero, and he flies out.
They're tied.
No run score.
The Giants, Angels, and Mets are tied for the worst in baseball.
That is so sad. That is so utterly sad.
It's sad. I mean, even the Twins are better, but they're not that far behind.
Even the Rockies are better. I mean, the Giants, I'm going to be honest with you, Kenny, if things don't turn around for the Giants soon, the Giants could lose upwards of 90 to 95 games. They really could. It's unfortunate. And as I said, at least the long term looks good for this team, but it still sucks to watch them.
Yankees are tied with the Rays, probably 3rd best overall.
The Yankees are having another strong season. And
the best in the American League.
Now, if the Giants are to make trades at the deadline, because the Giants are going to need to offload some contracts, particularly that of Willy Adames and Rafael Devers, do you think, Kenny?
Right now, the Braves and Cubs are the best in baseball.
They are. The Cubs just had their 10-game winning streak snapped last night. But my question to you, Kenny, is do you think the Yankees would have and of course, the Yankees just called up Spencer Jones. But, Kenny, my question to you is, do you think the Yankees could or any other team have an incentive to trade for Willy Adames or a Rafael Devers? Now, with Adames, he's 30 years old. He's one of the best defensive shortstops in baseball. He's got 5 years left on his contract, should be in his prime for most of it. There is a lot of money on it.
If they need a shortstop, they may not. They'll have to see what they need in June and July.
Because both Devers and Adames and Devers are guys who want to hit home runs, and they can shorten their swings because we've seen it in these 2 games the Giants played against the Pirates, but they don't want to. They're your modern ball players who want to hit home runs, and they could be beneficial at Yankee Stadium, a bandbox, and if the Giants would be willing to eat some of a part of their contracts. I don't think it's completely unrealistic to think that perhaps the Yankees or other teams that play in live ballparks could be suitors. I think if the Phillies can get back in it, or the Blue Jays could get back in it, they could be suitors for Adames. I think the Reds could be suitors for Adames. And if the Giants are out of it, which I think is looking increasingly likely. I mean, I'm not declaring the season over yet, but. We might be about a week or 2 away from that happening.
You said the Reds. The Reds are at 525 last in the Central.
And what is a very powerful National League Central, I might add. But if the Giants are out of it and they get any inquiries on Willy Adames and Rafael Devers, trade them.
I was just saying that the Reds are barely treading water. I don't know. They may not even make the playoffs.
Well, it's too early to say that. This is setting up, Kenny, to be another weird season, and weird seasons are fun, and by that I mean you have the entire National League Central over 500, and until a few days ago you had the entire American League West and American League Central under 500. Right now, those 2 divisions are led by, the A's and Guardians, respectively, who are treading water. But it is kind of cool. The National League Central is very powerful. I think the Reds are a really good team. They don't have much hitting, but they've been able to win some games. Despite that, the Pirates are a good young up-and-coming team, and they're finally making some long-term plans. They're locking up some of their young guys for the long term, which is nice to see. I'm not buying the Cardinals, but you never know. The Brewers are a good team. They're not as – I think they're kind of taking a step back, but the thing with the Brewers is they have nothing to worry about because – and this is what the Giants really needed to do during the championship years and didn't. And this is what has made the Brewers, as long as teams like the Dodgers, the Guardians, the Rays, and some other teams consistently good, is when they're in win now mode, they're still replenishing the farm system. The reason the Giants are in this rut is because during the championship years, over a decade ago, the Giants completely ignored their farm system. And
What?
What's that?
Ignore the farm system.
Because the Giants, for a long time have never been a good long-term team. You have to have a plan for the long term, and so the Brewers have kept the farm. Actually, the Diamondbacks are another team that has kept their farm system replenished and could be good for a while because of that.
Yankees always have a good farm system.
Yep, Yankees are another team, and the Red Sox, they always replenish their farm system. The Giants had a chance to be that consistently good team for many years during the championship years, and they had 2 good runs. They had 15 winning seasons in 20 years from 1997 to 2016. And the Giants have, in the last 9 years, just had 1 winning season. And unfortunately, it's because during the championship years, and actually even during the Bonds years, they kind of ignored the farm system. They got on it a little early. They got on it finally in 2005 after Bonds was injured most of that year. But during the championship years, like the Bonds years, they completely ignored the farm system. And the difference between those two is, after the Giants lost 98 games in 2017, and it was very apparent that the championship days were over, Larry Baer and company were in denial that it was. They wanted to keep the sellout gravy train going, and they tried to beat on that dead horse, and they traded away Brian Reynolds to the Pirates for 5 months of Andrew McCutchen, who they in turn traded to the Yankees for a month of Abiatel Avellino. And the Giants finally, in 2018 realized, okay, we got to go in a different direction. And then unfortunately 2021 made them think that the rebuild had worked and that they were ready to compete now. And then we saw what has happened over the last 4 years, and just all of that combined has given us
Yeah.
9-year period, being where they've only made the playoffs once in the last 9 years, but have only had 1 winning season in the last 9 years. That is unacceptable for a franchise of this caliber, and especially for a franchise that just over a decade ago won 3 world championships in 5 years. And there's absolutely no reason for that to be the case. And if you want honesty, Kenny, the Giants over the last 3 years have fired 2 managers and a president of baseball operations. And each of the last 3 seasons, someone was fired at the end. 23 was Gabe Kapler, 24 was Juan Zaidi, last year it was Bob Melvin. At what point do the Giants look more in the mirror at themselves in the ownership group? It's a matter of this ownership group's been around for 33 years. And they've done some pretty good things. I mean, they Larry Baer and Peter McGowan saved the team for San Francisco from moving to Tampa Bay at the end of 1992. They built possibly the greatest park in the history of the game. Bill Newcomb then came along and won them 3 championships. Don't give any credit to Larry Baer for that one. But unfortunately, now the Giants are mainly focusing on developing Mission Rock across the McCovey Cove, and just don't seem that to be too particularly interested in winning games. And I think this ownership group's done a good job, but I hope someone will come along and put a new investment group together to buy the team. I think it's time for new ownership for the Giants, if you want honesty. I do feel, the good news is the Giants are building the farm, and the Giants have greatly improved their farm system in just the last year. But if they're really going to sustain things with a new core, as I said, they're kind of rebuilding here in 26 and over the next 3 years through 2028. They're rebuilding. Come 29, they'll have a new young core developed, ready to compete. but hopefully by then they'll have a new ownership that can maintain that and can have a long-term uh, outlook, so that even when they are good, they don't completely ignore the farm system like they did during the Bonds years and during the championship years. And unlike those two periods, they can replenish the farm system and keep things going for longer than just a decade. And they can be a premier team for many, many years and decades. Because watching the Giants are a team that should have been a premier team for many decades. As I said, I mean, they had 15 winning seasons in 20 years. In 20 years, from 1997 to 2016, the Giants they had 15 winning seasons, 8 trips to the playoffs, 4 trips to the World Series, and 3 World Championships. And they got away with not having a long-term outlook during the Bonds years. They got very lucky. It was, you had that 4-year losing period from 05 to 08, which wasn't fun. But, the championship years, it's just the Bonds years, they didn't really look to the future, and it really has come back to bite them over the last 9 years. And the Giants need a new ownership that's going to be able to compete and look to the long term at the same time. So those are my thoughts.
All right. Well, I think if the Yankees stay healthy, they should be going very far.
Oh, they will be. And the American League is extremely weak.
That's true.
The American League is absolutely putrid this season. So if the Yankees stay in it, I think the Yankees are in good shape. I really do.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of people beating the Dodgers.
Well, it's going to be hard, and the Dodgers are definitely motivated to make it a three-peat. Only 2 teams have ever three-peated, and no National League team has ever three-peated. The Yankees have done so a handful of times. Yankees did so. The Yankees have had, I think 3 different three-peats. They won 4 titles from 36 to 39, 5 from 49 to 53, and then 3 straight from 1998 to 2000. The A's from 1972 to 1974. No other team has ever won 3 straight world championships, and the Dodgers are definitely feeling some motivation to do so. And
the Dodgers are definitely the new Yankees.
They are, and they're a team that, and people want to talk about a salary cap, and that's going to be the main focal point of upcoming lockout and CBA negotiations. And we'll have a season next year. I don't think we're getting the full 162 games next year, but we'll have a season. They're not going to. They know they cannot. Major League Baseball knows they cannot lose an entire season. But as terms of the salary cap, on paper, I have, in theory, in principle, I absolutely support the idea of a salary cap. These players are paid too much money, but
I support too.
If you're going to enforce a salary cap on the players, but no salary cap on the owners, then I can't really get behind that. I don't think that's fair. And as long as the owners want to subscribe to capitalism as the main governing economic factor in the game, then they should play by the rules of capitalism. It's amazing that in a country, in America, most of the majority of American people are poor and are living paycheck to paycheck. And you have these billionaire owners who have the nerve to cry poor and want a fair playing ground. Piss off. You guys are billionaires. You guys have money. And here's the thing, Kenny. Every single one of these teams can afford to spend money. They choose not to.
That's Steven, that I'm all for the Dodgers winning, because not that I like LA or anything. It's dynasties come back, and the Yankees might one day win another dynasty.
Well, here's the thing. It sucks as a Giants fan to watch the Dodgers be on the precipice of a literal dynasty. It sucks. But as a baseball fan, you have to respect the Dodgers for, unlike most of their other owners, putting winning above all else. and being willing to spend money to win. And the Kyle Tucker contract was ridiculous, but you look at the teams like the Marlins could have paid that contract without going over the luxury tax threshold. The Cleveland Guardians could have paid that contract without going over the luxury tax threshold.
Right.
The reason the teams hate the Dodgers is because they make the rest of the teams look bad. The Dodgers are making more money, but it's because it's an investment. The Dodgers are putting their money in a winning product, and they are reaping the benefits of it. They are reaping great crowds, great viewership, because they have put the money in to try and win.
You got to make the sacrifices require the players to win.
And actually, this is where Larry Baer, for all his foibles, did actually kind of indicate that he is not for a salary cap, and that the Dodgers spending is good for baseball. It is. The Dodgers aren't ruining baseball. The teams that refuse that refuse to spend money are ruining baseball. The reason the Dodgers have amassed the 1992 U.S. Men's Olympic national basketball team of baseball is because no one else spends money. If other teams were willing to spend money, which they can do, the Dodgers wouldn't amass the super team.
Did you see? I know you don't like much other sports, but did you see the Knicks scored 50 points before the first half? Before the half was pretty much over at halftime. Nobody has ever had a 50-point lead.
I did not see that.
At halftime. It's well, maybe you should pay attention to all sports. That it made sports history. No point in any playoffs that anybody have a 50-point lead. I think they won 140 to 90 something. Knicks history. Franchise history is made. They've never had a lead that big in franchise history at the end of the game.
Wow.
No surprise they're sweeping the competition and giving the 76ers 3-0. 76ers are going to go down today 3.
So what round are they in the NBA playoffs? Are they in the semis or the – they're in the conference finals.
Semi. That's what they call the semi.
Oh, yeah, they're in the – so that's the semis are they're in the semifinals, in the conference finals, then the finals.
Right. Then they come down to the Eastern finals and then the final. Most likely. I'm looking at the bracket right now, and I'm trying to see what Oklahoma Thunder is probably waiting on the other side. They're tough. They swept the first round. That's tough.
And they're about to sweep the Lakers.
Yeah. Goodbye, LA. See ya.
See, and the Knicks are about to sweep the Sixers.
Yeah. Knicks could probably take the Thunder. It's possible.
That'll be interesting.
I mean, they're blowing teams out all playoffs. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens, baby.
It's going to be interesting. I'll be watching today at 3. Congratulations on the play-by-play job.
Oh, you heard?
Yeah.
Where'd you hear?
Before I left that
if I may ask.
Before I left, I heard from the Tango's Bar and Grill people.
Well, they must have heard. Well, I'm going to be announcing Cal and Stanford for CalX on Thursday.
Nice. Yeah.
So I just thought I would put that out there. I'll be announcing again on Thursday for Cal and Stanford. I got to make my debut for Cal versus Georgia Tech on April 2nd. The Georgia Tech Bulldogs scored 9 runs in the top of the first inning, though. I loved watching it because they didn't hit a single home run in that first inning. They had a couple home runs, I think 2 or 3 home runs later in that game, but it was fun to watch a team play station to station baseball. And or not the Georgia Tech Bulldogs, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. There is a Georgia Bulldogs team, I think. But
Yeah.
Cal and Stanford Thursday night, 7 Pacific, 8 Mountain, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. KLX Radio. Take a listen. I'll be on the call.
I don't know if I'm gonna take a listen because it's a little far and it's in California.
I could send you a link. You can listen online.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, we can make it happen, and we'll have a lot of fun. And I appreciate Alex and the people there for giving me this opportunity.
Right.
I really
We're plugging stuff this Saturday
do.
on LongBrain TV. I'm interviewing Eugene Hutz of Gogo Bordello.
And also, I might as well plug my baseball show, the Insomniac Lunatic Fringe. You can
What did you hear?
Follow me on my YouTube page, Insomniac Rudy.
Well, Stephen, did you hear? I'm interviewing
Eugene.
I'm interviewing Eugene Hutz of Gogo Bordello.
Yeah, I heard you.
Yeah.
But speaking of YouTube, I'm going to shamelessly promote my channel, Insomniac S Rudy. Not Insomniac Rudy, Insomniac S Rudy, and you can watch live or watch on archives the Insomniac Lunatic Fringe. I do frequent pre and post game for the Giants, not after every game, but after a lot of games. And I do need to get some guests to interview. I haven't been able to get around to that yet, but definitely listen. Good content, good, real, unfiltered, raw emotions, and my true thoughts on the Giants and everything going on around our great game.
Well, me, it's not hard to get guests.
Yes and no.
Well, baseball, yeah, it's hard, but music not so much because
really
I'm surrounded by things like agnostic front people. I go to show former members and current members are usually at these things. Unless they're playing a show, then runs a former member. They're everywhere. Or other bands like Gogo Bordello. Are you not into? I guess you're not into punk.
Not really. I'm sorry.
I would call them gypsy punk. That's how they would probably call themselves. Yeah. They have musicians from all over the world. A lot of it's based in.
I should listen to more punk. Never been much of a punker, but punk rocker. But
their sound is mainly based in Ukraine music.
Ukraine?
Yeah, Eugene is originally from Ukraine.
Ukraine?
Yeah, he left during.
Send me some links.
I mean, Eugene left during Chernobyl. When the war happened, and all that. He left, became a refugee, and that's why the
war's still going. The war's still.
Well, yeah, but that's why his band is made up of people all over the world because he went all over the world. I'm sure that's the reason. Because he ended up living all over the world, and he settled in the Lower East Side. Well, yeah, it's a cool place to be. You're going to be in America. It's got great music and great culture. Things like the peppermint.
Send me a link. I'll definitely take a listen to it.
All right. Yeah, they're known for their.
Send me a link. I'll listen to it.
All right, but they're known for their intense live performances. I've seen this.
There are a lot of bands that are better live than in studio.
Yeah, I've seen this, so I can attribute that it's intense. Yeah. I can say that I don't know why Joe Shane decided to get spend money on Aaron Rodgers. I have no idea why. He's kind of beyond his time. He's an aging quarterback. I don't know why people are spending money on the man. That's a question for Joe Shane, right? Yeah.
Anyway, Kenny, I got to get going.
All right. Thank you for showing up.
Well, thanks for having me, Kenny.
All
Hope
right,
the
man.
Giants can pull one out today and still salvage this season. Take care, my friend.
All right. All right, that was Rudderman. Thank you for being here. I mean, I don't know the motivation behind stuff. I wish they had the money that Wandell Robinson wanted. Nashville has it. People aren't going to have the money that people deserve or want. It's part of life. It's just the way it is. People give a lot of money to certain people and then don't have a lot of money to give other people. With the whole Soto thing, that's that big 10+ year contract. They got $700 something million for it. That's a lot of money. That's why the Mets didn't make the playoffs. They spent like all their money on that one player. Really, they should have told them, A, you're not getting a skybox. B, I was on B. How about 600 million? There's so many other people we like to give 150 million to. Yeah, spread it around, get a bunch of players, maybe make the playoffs. Yes, we would like to do that. Right. By giving you a whole lot less money, we would be securing that we would be in the playoffs. Sounds like a good plan, right? But yeah, some people, they just want to give certain players all the money and then they wonder why. Hey, man, you didn't make the playoffs? Dang. Should spread that money around. Maybe there should be a salary cap or something like that. They make football get one. Yeah. Players are just getting paid insane amounts of money. All right. Hope you enjoyed this. And go Yankees, which are playing soon. Go Knicks. Just going to get that broom out, sweep 76ers under the broom. Just get out, sweep across. And then they'll probably end up playing the Timberwolves or something. Yeah, that's right. Or the Timberwolves going to be playing the Thunder. I don't know what's going to happen in the playoff. All right. Enjoy the replay. No, you. Yeah, that's right. Yes, Sean.